Fee, just to tell us about if there's any discomfort in the lower back stemming from last game, and just if it elevated at all throughout the game.
No, it didn't affect my game. I mean, it's not like 100% because it was like a muscle spasm, so it's a little sore, but it didn't like affect my game tonight.
Also, a career night for you, 31 points, despite getting double, triple team from arguably the best defensive team in the WNBA. Just what was it like out there? And I know it didn't end the way you wanted it to, but just being able to put on a performance like that in front of the home crowd in Game 3.
Yeah, it was exactly how we thought it was going to be. They were really intense in their pressure. They turned it up. I mean, we're both fighting to keep our season alive, so we knew it was going to be hard. Yeah, it wasn't a surprise that happened, so I knew that I had to be really aggressive.
Yeah, to either of you, you mentioned that they turned up the defensive intensity, which you obviously expected. Just how difficult was it to move the ball and get shots against that defense?
Yeah, I mean, they're so talented defensively, and they've played together for a while, and they're all vets, so they know how to, disrupt us, especially when we're trying to get it to Fee and they're sending double teams. I think sometimes we got stagnant in, trying to get it to Fee a little bit too much when they were so compact in the paint instead of just moving the ball and looking for the open shot. But, again, credit to them and their defense. It's, again, one of the best in the league for a reason.
Is this one of those series that becomes something for you to hold your hat on and learn from for future growth?
Yeah, I think you can learn from all experiences, and especially a loss, you learn more than a win. So I thought it was, obviously we wish that we could have won and learned from it, but it's still something that we can take with us and see, this is what great defensive teams do. Connecticut was great defensively, like Bridget said, and this is what it takes to get to, I think Coach said this is like their 5th in a row semifinal. So they know what they're doing, and I'm really proud of what our team has done this year and the growth that we've had. And so I'm excited to see, the steps that we take even more next year, because it is a learning experience. And we have people who, 2 rookies, like Tiff's coming from Indiana, just people who haven't been in this situation a lot. So it is a learning curve, and I'm proud of our effort, and, wish Connecticut well.
Fee, the way you finished this season, the way you kind of crescendoed right through the playoffs and had career games on back-to-back playoff games, what did you learn about yourself, and what is the ceiling here for you going forward?
Everyone hopes there's no ceiling. I don't know. Yeah, I think I just learned that, the mental barriers are more than physical. I feel like I pushed through a lot of mental barriers this year, just aggression-wise, and, I had to push a lot in the off-season physically, and I think it made me tougher. So, I was proud of the way that I was able to come back this season, because it definitely wasn't easy. It was a lot of hard work, the hardest rehab I've ever done. So I was proud of that, proud of my team, and, like I said, I want to continue to grow into next year and take the mentality that I have and keep it on, for the rest of my career.
For either one of you, I guess when you're going up against Duana Bonner and Alyssa Thomas, just how much strain does that put on, not just having to defend them, but also having to defend the other 3 players that are on the court and holding them down as a team for all 40 minutes?
Yeah, it's so hard. Last game, the game we won, Duana and AT both had big games, but we were able to control the supporting cast. And tonight, they were still good, and the supporting cast hit some big shots and kept them, that 15-point. We could never, break that. So that's tough. I mean, those 2 players, they're so good with the ball in their hands. They're able to score on their own, but they're also able to facilitate, and they can do everything. So that's the challenge with them. And they were on tonight. That's what they do. They're vets, and they're kind of built for this moment. They've been in this moment before. So, yeah, definitely a challenge, but something we weren't afraid to go up against, and it was fun to play against.
And then, Fee, for you specifically, you played 2 big stretches there while at the 5, which is something we haven't seen a whole lot of this season. And it looked like you played, some of your best basketball tonight when you were playing at the 5. Just what do you think enables you to be able to be successful at the 5? And is that something that you anticipate maybe doing moving forward at all?
Probably not, but obviously wherever Coach puts me, I'm going to try to do my best. But I really credit BB especially. She's a great post player, and she really talked to us about angles a lot this year. So getting around and then knowing that your team's going to be there for you. So I knew that, denying the ball or if I get around that my team's going to be there for me. And so trust is like a huge thing that goes into that. And then on the other side, it's fun when a 5 guards you because they're not used to going through ball screens and things like that. So I think that's also why I had success at it, because you're putting defenders in positions that they're not normally in. So that's always fun.
And then lastly, for either one of you, outside of that second quarter, that 5-minute stretch in the second quarter, it was pretty much an even game all the rest of the way through. What do you think was the biggest difference in why Connecticut was able to go on that run that ultimately ended up sealing the game?
They made shots, we didn't. I mean, it really comes down to that. We got some good looks, they didn't go in, and they got some hard looks, and they did. And so when you have that combination and when they're scoring, baskets that they may not normally make and baskets that they do normally make, and then we're not executing on the other end, it's just a hard thing to come back from.
Yeah, they were heavily in the paint. We talked about that at halftime. In that stretch, we had a stretch at the end of the first quarter where we were defending really well, and then it kind of laxed off, and they were in the paint, and then they're going to be efficient. They were shooting a high percentage at halftime, so that was kind of the hard shots. They were still hard shots, but they were making them.
We'll pivot to the Zoom. Start off with Jordan.
Hi, so I kind of just wanted to talk about this season overall because it seems as though when adversity hit, you all just found a way to get through it and push. So could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think it's just our will to want to do well for each other. I've said this over and over, but we have such a special group of people who they want to do well, and we want to do well to make our team proud. It's not about me, it's not about it's about the team, the collective. And so when you have a group like that, you can overcome a lot, and I think that we try to be quick learners the best that we can. For instance, this series we lost by 30, which obviously is really disappointing for us, and we came back and won the game because we want to do better. We look inwards and see what we can do. So I'm really proud of the growth that we've had. We did have a lot of ups and downs in the season, but the willingness to learn is what I think pushed us over the top and allowed us to come back from, the lows and reach those highs.
Thank you.
Any further questions?
All right, thank you guys for this year.